first, we have preliminary final subdivision plat review. Applicant Tom Over. And you want to pick up?
Sure. Under general information, the applicant is Tom Orr, P-E-R-L-S. Status of applicant, he is the agent for Agnes Gallagher Ayers, property owner. Requested action, preliminary final subdivision plat review. To review the developer's compliance with Franklin County subdivision regulations and zoning resolution to allow a second minor division in the calendar year. The existing zoning is R2 general residential. Location is the 7th Civil District, parcel 20, Franklin County, Tennessee, property map number 23, located on Highway 130, which is Old Tullahoma Road. Size 9.21 plus minus acres. Existing land use is residential and agricultural. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is residential, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential, A agricultural. To the south, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential and A agricultural. To the east, residential, and zoned R2 general residential. To the west, residential, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential, A agricultural. Applicable regulations, Franklin County zoning resolution, Article 6, Section 2, page 38, and Franklin County subdivision regulations. Under specific information, previous actions, a minor division of property was approved on October 7, 2016, creating a 0.96 acre parcel. The proposed activity, a division of property creating a 5.40 acre parcel and a 3.81 acre parcel. Name of development, Gallagher, Old Tullahoma Road, number 3. Number of proposed lots is 2. Lot size density, both tracts exceed the minimum area standard for the zoning district. Tract 1 fronts Highway 130 for approximately 705 feet. Tract 2 fronts Highway 130 for approximately 324 feet. Highway 130 is a state highway with a varying right-of-way and an asphalt surface. Existing structures, there's an existing barn and several outbuildings, all used for agricultural purposes shown on tract 1, and an existing single-family residence and shed shown on tract 2 on the plat. Setback yard standards, minimum setbacks and yards for the R2 General Residential Zone District are noted and shown on the plat. There is a 40-foot DREMC utility easement noted on the plat. A 6-inch water line runs along the south side of Highway 130. Potable water is provided by Center Grove Winchester Springs Utility District. Power is available to the site and is provided by the Duck River Electric Membership Corporation. Sanitary waste disposal is assumed to be by utilizing a septic tank system. It is unknown whether or not the soils have been tested by a soil scientist. Under fire protection is provided by the North Franklin County Rural Volunteer Fire Department. There's a fire hydrant located at the front of Tract 1 on the south side of Highway 130. Drainage is generalized to the south. The site is not in an identified FEMA flood hazard area per map number 47051C0040E. The lots created by this minor division are in compliance with the R2 General Residential Zoning District. This site is located within the Franklin County Regional Planning Commission's jurisdiction. Field survey was done on 11/16/16 and a plat review on 11/8/16. Staff recommends approval for the preliminary final subdivision plat for Gallagher, Old Tullahoma Road, number 3. The proposed is generally in compliance with the Franklin County zoning resolution and subdivision regulations. Under attachments, you have a general location map, immediate area map, a GIS view, and a preliminary final plat.
Okay, the way we'll handle this for the ones that don't know, and Mr. Tom Orr started this, so we'll give him credit. We go to the members of the commission first for questions or discussion, whatever. And then we will go to the participants. And at this time, I'll hand it off to the board.
I wonder if Janet received anything back from neighbors.
Yes, sir, I did. I received 2 adjoining property owners, property owner notices. One from Kenneth Hale, map 23, parcel 20.05, and one from Jerry Michael, map 23, parcel 11.00. Both of them just signed it, there are no comments.
Okay. Anyone else have a question or discussion on it? Anyone in the audience want to know anything about it or discuss it? If not, we'll bring it back to the table and take the action on it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second to approve.
Who did the second? David?
Yes, I did. I guess I beat you out right now.
Little bit.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move right along to number 2 on the agenda.
Under general information, applicant again is Tom Moore, PDRLS. Status of applicant, agent for Sheila Pat Miller, property owner. Requested action is rezoning from R2 general residential to A agricultural. Purpose is to allow a proposed minor division of property conform to the provisions set forth in the Franklin County zoning resolution and any use permitted in an A agricultural zone district. The existing zoning is R2 general residential. Location is 9th Civil District, parcel 22.02 on Franklin County, Tennessee, property map number 38, located on Old Alto Highway. Size is 1.13 plus minus acres. Existing land use residential. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north, residential, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential and A agricultural. To the south, residential, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential, A agricultural. To the east, residential, agricultural, and zoned R2 general residential. To the west, residential, agricultural, and R2 general residential. Applicable regulations, Franklin County zoning resolution, Article 6, Section 2.41, page 40, Article 10, Section 3, page 80, and Article 15, page 117. Under specific information, previous action, the subject parcel was zoned R2 general residential with the adoption of zoning in 1974. A 0.044 acre tract was divided off the west adjoining property and added to the Miller property on October 17, 2016. Access the subject parcel from Old Alto Highway for approximately 230 feet, and Old Alto Highway has a 50-foot right-of-way and an asphalt surface. Internal access to the site is provided by an existing driveway. Site distance appears to be good at the posted speed limit. A 6-inch water line runs along Old Alto Highway. Potable water is provided by Winchester Utilities. Power is available to the site and is provided by the Duck River Electric Membership Corporation. Sanitary waste disposal is by septic system. Fire protection service is provided by the Alto Oak Grove Rural Volunteer Fire Department. There's a fire hydrant located approximately 1,500 feet southeast of the subject parcel on the north side of Old Alto Highway. Police protection is provided by the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. Drainage is generalized to the west. There are no apparent low-lying or ponding areas on the site, according to the USGS quad map. The site is not in an identified FEMA flood hazard area per map number 47051C0100E. The subject parcel is characterized as a fairly level lot with an existing residence, a detached garage, which is the proposed residence, and several outbuildings. The immediate and general areas are characterized by a mix of agricultural activity with sparsely scattered residential activity along the roadway. The site is located within the Franklin County Regional Planning Commission's jurisdiction. Under other, the applicant wishes to divide the subject parcel into 2 separate parcels. There is an existing residence and a detached garage located on the property. The applicant would like to convert the detached garage into a residence for his son. The current zoning does not allow 2 residences on 1 parcel. A division of property would not meet the provisions of the current R2 General Residential Zone District, specifically the minimum lot width requirement. The proposed rezoning will allow the subject parcel to be divided into 2 separate parcels that would conform to the provisions set forth in the A Agricultural Zone District. Field survey was done on November 16, 2016, a plat review on November 15, 2016. Under analysis, staff recommends the rezoning of the subject parcel from R2 General Residential to A Agricultural as requested. The proposal is generally in compliance with the intent of the A Agricultural Zoning District provisions of the Franklin County Zoning Resolution. Under attachment, you have a general location map, an immediate area map, a GIS view, and a survey. Just to add to this, they tried to be able to conform to the R2 provisions by obtaining some property from their neighbor to the east. However, the surveyor tried to arrange these lots to meet all requirements and was not able to meet the minimum lot width requirement, which is 130 feet. In the agricultural zone district, that minimum lot width is 100 feet. He could meet that with both parcels. And in your, this is what they're trying to accomplish, this survey that is in your staff report there. I've been out to the site. Everything around this property is agricultural. You know, back in 1974, oh, well, no, yes. Back when zoning first came into this county, they went along some of these highways and rezoned 1,000 feet from the center line of the highway on both sides R2. Nobody's really ever been able to explain why that was done back when.
That's been a pet peeve of mine ever since I've been on this boat.
But nobody knows why.
Nobody
Well,
seemed, maybe
I know
Nobody
why.
officially knows why.
I know why, but I'm not gonna say.
maybe that's what it is. They knew why. They don't.
Nobody will say. In other words, it's not in writing of why.
I don't think so.
So,
But it's bit us a time or two. Not this is
Yeah.
the first time.
so the A agricultural zone district is fitting for the area, in my eyes.
Did you receive anything back?
Did. Laney Eichard, map 38, parcel 39, just signed his notice. Betty Rose, map 38, parcel 20.00, just signed her notice. Sheila Miller, property owner, signed her notice. Larry Patton, map 38, parcel 22.01, signed his and under comments, approve of this, do not see a problem.
Okay. Anyone on the board got any questions or
I
discussion?
just have a comment, not specifically about this, I guess, but according to that 1974 ruling, doesn't that affect our property tax that we could be collecting versus, on residential versus agricultural, or no? Is it, no
No,
effect?
because the only time the tax rate is lowered is if it's in green belt, and that takes 15
Well,
days.
that's true, yeah, that's true, yeah.
It doesn't affect that.
So there's zero effect to that law? Okay.
Yeah.
Unless they've got a farm versus, you know. The man that goes out in the field, what I'm saying.
Oh, you're talking about the appraisal.
Right.
Yeah, they do the
When
appraisal,
they
yeah.
appraised, if they was to say, well, this is residential,
Versus agriculture.
right, but they.
But it
like
shouldn't,
Eddie
the
said,
worth of the property.
Yeah, it should be the
The
same.
worth of the house or a lot, whether it be agricultural or residential, should be the same.
Yeah.
I don't think that the county, as far as an impact on the county, that'll make any difference. That's what you're asking.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah. That's my opinion. Sometimes that ain't worth much.
Well, that's the way of mine.
Sounded like it tonight, though.
There you go.
That's me.
Anyone else? Anyone in the audience have any questions or discussion on it? Okay, we'll bring it back to the table for
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All in favor of the motion, let it be known saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Could I ask a question now?
You sure can.
What, so you just recommended for rezoning, I guess?
Yes.
When would the county commission meet to act on that, one way or the other?
The fifth?
We don't have a date yet because it would be January.
Oh, you don't, they won't be ready for the,
Mm-mm, 'cause
no, because the packet's already, you're right, you're close. See, we meet in December on the first part of the month instead of the last of the month. So you're right, be January.
Okay. This is one of those things where my clients, Barney Oliver here and Sheila Miller, they're trying to comply with the regulations of the county. They were out of compliance when they moved. Life caught up with them. They had to move a family member into this garage. The garage was first only 10 feet from the line, and that was fine. In fact, Mark Dudley helped lay that line out. But once they had to move somebody in there, then it becomes a residence. Then you have to have 25 feet. First thing they did was got some land from their neighbor. So you might notice there's a little bit of swoop going around on the right-hand side. So I did a survey that would get them more land on that side. Their neighbor cooperated, and they were able to get compliance there. But they still couldn't split their property into two pieces like they need to do because of that minimum frontage that they had to have. So that's where the rezoning comes from. They don't intend to move this property. It'll stay in their name. But this way, they're legal with the county, with the planning commission. And they were getting letters, they were out of compliance. So my question just goes to that. I think they can show that they're trying their best to come back into compliance, which we don't always see, and sometimes people just want to continue to stay out. So this is a good thing.
Well, once the county commission meets in January, though, and pass it, they'll be in compliance.
Then Janet will be able to sign that survey that you have in front of you,
Yeah.
and then I think we'll be good to go.
So it'll be January before we get the final. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is a recommending body. They recommend to the county commission that they recommend that the property rezone, and then it's up to the county commission.
Okay.
They actually pass it. If they wish.
It's probably a good idea to be at that commission meeting.
Okay, just, do you know when it is, Mr. Chairman?
I will send you a letter
Okay.
stating that it will go on January's agenda, but that we don't have that date yet. Once-
Normally we meet on the third Monday of the month, but in January, we meet on the Tuesday because of Martin Luther King's birthday.
So once their dates have been approved by the county commission for the county commission meeting, then I will send you another
That'd be fine.
letter with that date on there.
That'd be fine. We'll be there.
All right.
Okay. And we're sorry that anything happened. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you all.
Talk to you later. See ya.
Janet has a little business we want to insert at this time. And I'll let you.
I had a couple of minor divisions presented to me that I just feel like maybe we just need a little bit of guidance or clarification from this board. The first one that I'd like to share with you is, this is a minor division where they're creating 2 tracks. And again, we've kind of run into a problem where, there's just enough property to fit things a certain way. And again, this is kind of a cleanup because on this tract of land, there was a house and a duplex. And then at some point in time, this duplex changed into a single-family residence. This was all done before zoning, so therefore it was a legal non-conforming, because this tract is only just a little over an acre. It doesn't allow for 2 residences, but this was before zoning. So it's kind of a cleanup.
Yeah.
And in trying to clean it up, run into the same problem where there's a tight fit here with the land. A flag lot has been created. Let me just show this to you. This is the first tract. This would be the second tract, all right? So what has happened is this flag lot that you see is 20 feet wide here at the road. This right here is an easement of 10 feet. This gives a total of a 30-foot access. 20 of it is in road frontage of the lot, and 10 of it is in an easement, okay? But there's 30 consistent feet, continuous feet there. So the reason that I bring this to the board is because Tom and I discussed this, and in our zoning resolution, it does state, no building shall be erected on a lot which does not abut at least one road which has been accepted as a public thoroughfare for at least 30 feet, or to a lot with an easement of at least 30 feet in width to a road which has been accepted as a public thoroughfare. I believe, and I believe Tom believes, that the intent was 30 continuous feet of road access. And you have that, it's just that 20 of it is road frontage. The lot abuts the road for 20 feet, and then you have a 10-foot easement. But I don't feel that I could make that that I couldn't say, yes, that's okay. That this board really needs to maybe interpret that as, do you really, does it have to be 30 feet of the lot abutting the road, or is 20 feet abutting with a continuous 10 feet of easement, is that okay?
Looks to me like it would be.
Well, it sounds like it boils down to the same thing.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think that we can actually take action, far as, somebody might correct me, but, because it's not on here.
But you
I
just
think-
want to clarify.
I just
Right,
want a
that's what I-
clarification
yeah,
of
yeah.
this, that's right.
Yeah,
Would it have to go to the zoning board?
Well, I'm just looking for a clarification of it, is the intent of this just that we get 30 feet of...
What does it say again exactly? How does it read?
It reads, no building shall be erected on a lot which does not abut at least one road which has been accepted as a public thoroughfare for at least 30 feet, or to a lot with an easement of at least 30 feet in width to a road which has been accepted as a public thoroughfare.
So that's saying one or the other's got to be 30 feet, and I guess the implication is if the combination of the two is 30 feet, shouldn't... Oh, okay.
So it could be opposite, it could be 10 and
exactly
20 foot easement.
right.
I don't think we need to take any action. I think that it's plain.
I-
I think my opinion is your interpretation is right.
Okay.
That's
Shouldn't
my opinion.
specifically preclude it,
You know.
I'd agree.
I wanted to,
Yeah, we don't can't
Right.
take action, you're right.
Right.
You're
We're not changing
Changing,
anything,
right,
it's
right.
just a clarification of interpretation, right?
and I agree, wasn't opposing it.
Okay. The other one that we have here, this is a larger parcel. And they're dividing off the residence and the garage onto 0.626 acres, which is fine. It all meets it conforms. to the provisions of the agricultural zone district, except for the remaining acreage has a barn and 3 sheds on that property. Our zoning doesn't allow for accessory structures without a residence, unless the structures are for agricultural purposes, because then they don't even require building permits. Okay? In the past, what we have done is, when there's a barn, a shed, we put on there for agricultural purposes. That way somebody looks at it, you know, when this is looked at, a person can see that, yes, it was divided, but these say for agricultural purposes, therefore it does comply with zoning. Tom, let me let you go.
I'll be glad to. And I did that on, is that the one you're pointing to, just?
No, this
there?
is the one that you're,
Yeah, well, okay, but I did one, we just talked about here, this is one that we just approved. And there was a barn over here on track 1, and I had a note, structure shown on this tractor for agricultural purposes, so I put that on there. I was pretty sure that was true because the Hales are buying this, and we all know what the Hales do, or most of us do. They're big farmers up on that end of the county, and so I was clear with that. But in this case, this is Dean Hanger, and Dean owns 30-acre tract. We're dividing off a little over half an acre tract off of it on the road, but the 30 acres go back and around, and it has other structures on it. I can put it on there. It's not an issue. Janet called, and I think we both decided maybe it'd be better to talk to you. I got a couple of things with this. First of all, I don't know what's in Dean's mind. I suggested that we get Dean to come in and talk to Janet, and he sign something or whatever, you know, but I don't know what he's going to do with it. If I put on there for agricultural purposes, I can do that and we'll all be happy, but have we done anything really? I mean, what have we got out of all that? I don't know what his intent is. I think that's got to come from him. And I, second, more as a surveyor, I don't really like the idea of a survey plat being used as a enforcement tool, if you will. That's not really the purpose of a survey. It's more of to measure and describe the land and the acreage. So that, I got some problems with that.
Which hangar is this?
It's the flooring guy.
Okay.
It's Dean Hanger, the flooring
Yeah.
guy. All right, and I'll give you one more story. I did this one time for a big farmer down in the southwest corner of the county, and we split off a little piece, and he kept the rest, and it had a barn on it. And I put on there on the plat for agricultural purposes, and Mark dinged me continuously after that because this farmer decided he wanted to park his pontoon boat in that barn. And so he questioned rightfully that whether it was being used for agricultural purposes. I had put on the plat that it was, and yet maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it was more of a, it was almost joking back and forth. By that time it was done and over, but Mark reminded me of it several times. So I got to thinking that maybe there's a better way of doing this, rather than using me as the kind of the club.
What's the location of this?
It's this one here is on Harris Chapel Road, almost to the intersection where Harris Chapel meets Eastbrook, if you can imagine where that
I know the
is.
area.
Clint Bayless.
It's,
But for all we know, they're gonna use it for agriculture.
for all we know,
Maybe
that's
it
correct.
had hay in there where he parked his
I
pontoon
mean,
boat.
I mean, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, sometimes I think we get to trying to pick stuff out here when if it's 30 acres of land and it's got a barn on it and sheds, in my opinion, it's agriculture.
And it's zoned agriculture.
Yeah, in my opinion,
To
it's
me, that's a
agriculture.
big thing.
Is this just south of Lockmiller?
Is it, I'm sorry.
Is it just south of Lockmiller? Or no, it would be
Harris
Just
Chapel.
south of
makes
where
a
Harris
circle.
Chapel turns out and goes out to 130, south end of it.
Yeah, it goes where it comes into Eastbrook.
Well, no, it's
Right.
real
right.
close to where it comes into Eastbrook.
Yeah.
The nearest road is
right,
Ramona
yeah,
Street,
right,
but,
okay.
a big tract, 30 acres, and they're using it for hay. And, I don't know what the right answer is. And I'll put it on there. That's not, there's no argument here. I want to
Why do we
stress
have
that.
to put
I just-
anything on there?
Well, and
If
this
it's
is.
agriculture.
And-
Explain that to me.
It matters.
And first of all, let me say that it's not that Tom and I are in any disagreement about this. We're not sure the right way to handle this. And so I've been thinking about this too. And what Tom has suggested, maybe that is something we should do. I'm not sure. The problem is, again, in our zoning resolution, accessory structures without a principal structure is not a use permitted. So if we do a division that shows these accessory structures, we're actually possibly showing that we are authorizing or signing off on something that does not comply with our zoning.
So we'd be separating these
Because-
structures away from,
Because this, if this were shown, okay, this is the rest of the tract. So you're gonna have this tract, and then you're gonna have this tract.
and there's nothing else on there.
There's no house on here,
Right.
but there's a barn and 3 sheds. Now, those sheds could be used for many things that are not agricultural.
That's true, they could be, but
And then the language specifies that it's okay only if it's for agriculture, right?
so what's he supposed to do, tear the barn down?
No, and that's.
I don't mean to be
Well,
sarcastic.
no,
but-
and this is where we're actually caught up in this, is that, so in the past, the way that we have, authorized that is just by putting on there for agricultural purposes. Now, I guess we could look at this 2 different ways. We're not actually saying that he's using that for agricultural purposes. We're saying that for this division to comply with our zoning, these
Have to be dedicated.
have to be dedicated
Right, designated.
for,
Yeah.
or, yeah.
I mean, what option do you offer that person, though? I guess that's the trouble. I'm like Eddie, I think we're down the ditch on this. I mean, that is, drilling down too far myself. That's my personal opinion.
And that's why we're asking for your opinion, for you to decide on this.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate, just like here a minute ago, we had somebody wanting to move somebody into a garage and we had to rezone, so we could do that. Let's say they put on the plat agricultural purposes, and for all we know, that's what they're using it for. Somewhere down the road, they're storing a bunch of pontoon boats in there, and somebody happens to say, hey, this isn't an agricultural use. What predicament do we find ourselves in? What remedy would there be?
Then I would say,
I think I would argue back just what I said. I wasn't trying to be smart either, but what if he's got a loft full of hay?
Sure.
And you park
If it's
your boat in there.
multi-use and part of that
So
is
we say,
agriculture.
or it has to be,
He's got 2 pontoon boats,
Yeah.
a tractor and a hay rake in it.
Sure,
exactly.
sure.
Or he could say that he's using the pontoon boats to clean the grass out of his farm pond.
That's it.
and that's where this has always been sticky.
Right.
It's
I
always
know
been
it's a
sticky.
problem for Janet,
Yeah,
we don't mean to be
No,
doing that, I
no.
just think
Do we have to work on an amendment to put in, to have county commission vote on it?
I say no, but that's my
I would
vote.
think so.
But right now, the way it reads, as long as the plat says for agricultural purposes, it's in compliance.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, to me, if
That's
on down the
right.
road, if somebody comes to you and complains that this man out here has turned this barn into a commercial warehouse, then we take action at him at that point in time.
Yeah.
I don't think we need that we need to get involved in it in the beginning, because for all we know, it's gonna be agriculture. Until we're proven it's not agriculture, then it's agriculture.
Right.
I'm fine with
So
it.
are you saying then that it does not need to be labeled
No, it does.
agricultural?
I think it does, doesn't it? Because in our
I disagree. I don't think it needs to be labeled anything.
I don't think we need to put Tom in
Uh-uh.
the survey.
I mean,
in
I
that
see what
predicament.
you're saying, but
You know, a barn's a barn.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It's
I
exactly
agree with what
exactly-
Eddie said, if down the road they found somebody living in there
yeah.
or something, then we gotta investigate and make a decision. But in the meantime, it's a
Well,
barn.
I'm not trying to be difficult, but I think it says that in order for it to be compliant, it's got to say for agricultural purposes.
No,
Right?
no,
No,
it doesn't.
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No,
Okay, I misunderstood, okay.
It has to have a residence.
He's just
So
saying in
if
the
there's not
past
a
he's done it
residence,
that
if
way.
there's not a residence, we're gonna allow those buildings to be on that property without another residence,
let,
if it specifies on the plat agricultural.
let me just say that, because this is kind of
Okay.
a sticky one. Our zoning doesn't allow for accessory structures without principal structure being a residence, okay? So in the past, they had been labeled
I've got you.
for
Didn't
agricultural
require that.
purposes.
I got you.
That way, we have not created any
Ah,
violation, okay? It says on there agricultural
But
purposes.
there's not a requirement that it be labeled. There you go, that's
There's
where I
none
was
that,
confused.
there's
Okay.
none that
All right.
I see. I think it was just something
Yeah.
that came about.
Right.
That's my
To-
take as well. It's just something that's kind
But
of
I'm not,
evolved.
Dave, I don't think that we need to put the surveyor in that
No,
predicament.
that's not their
I
job.
think, I
You're
interpret it
not
as long
changing
as
that piece that you staked off, you're not changing the zoning of it anyway. It was
yeah.
it was agricultural to start with, and it's still agricultural.
Well, now, not necessarily, because this could be R2 property, okay? Let's just say this is zoned R2, all right? And you cut this off. This is zoned R2, and you have a barn and a shed and a shed and a shed.
But it could still stay there even under R2 if it's used for agricultural purposes.
That's right.
That's what I'm getting at, as long as, until that landowner
Yeah.
shows us that they're not, violates it and not using it for agriculture, I think we're out of line if we step into it and try to tell him anything to do with his property.
Yeah, to
In my
Tom's
opinion.
point, the plat should not be the enforcement tool.
No.
That's not what it should be
Enforcement tool
documented.
should be, if he breaks the
Right.
regulation, then the enforcement tool should be us,
Okay.
on down the road if we have to.
Yep, makes sense.
And that's all we needed. We just needed some clarification, because this has always been kind of a sticky thing. I think when I first came here, 11 years ago when I first started here, some would say a barn, some said shed. If it didn't say barn, then you put for agricultural uses. And then later on, a couple years later, it was, well, even if it says barn, we want for agricultural purposes only, put on the survey. And I kind of agree with Tom that it puts him in a situation.
Well, it becomes awkward to read people's minds. I hate to speak for somebody else and what their intent is. Maybe I'm being a little too anal, but you like to have what's on that plat to be as right as you can make it for liable for it, and so you try to make it perfect if you can, and that just nicks me a little bit to put that on there and not really control what the use is.
I was kind of thinking about this when all this came about, after I talked to Tom one day. I thought, well, when somebody comes into our office and they have a piece of land and there's not a house on it, and they want to put a big pole barn on there, they say, we say, well, the only way that you can do that is if that pole barn is just going to be for agricultural purposes only. And when they tell us, well, it is going to be for agricultural purposes only. Well, we don't have anything printed anywhere, or we don't go out there and look at his pole barn. We go, okay, well then you don't, then.
And that's what you should do.
You don't have to.
That's what you should do, yeah, in my opinion.
I believe then
You
Would-
want, I'm sorry.
I think we've pretty well got a consensus here.
Okay, all right, so.
Hey, thank you all for hearing that out.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
See you, Tom.
Meeting dates.
Yes, sir. I'm good with them.
If you need a motion, I move to be approved.
Second. Yeah, right.
Janet's the one that has to work with them, so she's the one to put them down.
Napkins. You should put, thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the meeting dates that we have? Let it be known, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Election of officers. And I won't be available on this next one. For mine. So I would open for nominations for chairman. Hill Planning Commission.
I'll nominate Dave.
Dave's been nominated.
I don't know that I'm smart enough to do it, I gotta tell
He
you.
ain't
Get the right
gonna
date.
do it.
There's two of us here.
Oh, okay.
Is it you or?
You.
I'm not as smart as they are.
Aren't you vice chairman now?
I'll tell you what, if
thought
I
so.
can do it, anybody can do it. Okay, any more nominations?
I move nomination cease and be elected.
Second that.
Motion's been made and seconded that nominations cease and be elected by acclamation. All in favor of this, let it be known, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Dave is the new chairman.
All right.
I guess, thank you. I'll let you know.
Oh, and I will continue on through this one if you want me to.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Or if you wanna do it, we can do it.
I don't.
Okay, vice chairman. Any nomination for vice chairman?
I nominate Eddie Clark.
Eddie Clark's been nominated.
Second.
Any more nominations?
Before you do, the only thing is, by me being secretary rather than vice chairman makes it handy
Oh,
for,
that's true. That's true.
not that it matters to me. You may have somebody else you want to serve as secretary, but that's the only thing I'm bringing up is that's really handy for Janet. Because I have to sign all those plats. And she's easy to run me down. But that's okay. Unless, and you might could be both.
Vice chairman and vice secretary.
I was at one time, yes.
And I might can be both. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up.
We did have a chairman, a vice chairman, a secretary, and a vice secretary.
Right.
Nominated for everything.
And that's what we have now.
Have
Yeah.
vice secretary?
Yeah, we have a vice secretary. David is, yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of worked out, I think, you know.
I mean, I just brought that up. It don't matter. I'll serve wherever y'all want me to.
So what was the motion? What was, that was,
I don't know that we got any further than this, that.
It is nominated unless somebody wants to change it. I mean, that's,
Who made the nomination?
I did.
Dave?
So we also nominate him as
Can I serve you?
secretary.
That's a quick, can you serve us both?
Yeah, that's too
Okay.
And I
bad.
don't have to be secretary. I'm just saying that
He'd be both.
All right, so I'm gonna make the motion to be vice chair and secretary. Can I do that, or?
Yes.
You guys okay with that?
I second that.
I wasn't trying to get too shy.
Well, we know how bad he wanted it, right?
I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to help Janet.
I'm sorry.
Right,
We're helping her too.
I'm kind of lost how to handle this.
Need a
but-
second, I guess.
Yeah,
You
we
got a
need a
second.
second to
You
the
got it.
motion.
You second.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Motion and a second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, now we'll revert back, I'm not sure this is Robert's Rules of Orders. Eddie?
That's AL's rules.
Okay, whatever. But, as long as we see everybody, that's all right.
You're chairman. He's vice chairman
So now-
and secretary.
Okay. Okay,
That's the way it is.
yeah. Now, we have Eddie nominated for vice chairman.
And secretary.
And secretary.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So we got the chairman.
If it's wrong, we'll just say at your last meeting as chairman, you did it.
Okay.
Now you need a vice secretary.
Any more nominations? Someone wanna,
Make a motion,
Make a
nomination cease.
motion's been made to nomination cease and elect by acclamation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of nomination cease and elected by acclamation, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now, what do we need change?
I think I missed out here on some, Eddie Clark made a motion for Chairman Dave Van Buskirk. Jeremy seconded it.
Actually, I think Steve.
No, I made a
Steve
motion
made-
that all nominations cease.
Steve made a motion.
Steve made the motion. Steve nominated.
I'm
Dave.
sorry, made a motion.
Yeah, nominated, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right, he nominated him, then I made a motion that all nominations cease.
Okay, and Jeremy seconded that
I
motion.
think that's right,
Who
yeah.
seconded Steve's,
You don't have to have a second on
Not
nomination.
on nomination.
oh, he
No.
just nominated,
Right.
okay. All right. All right. And Dave Van Buskirk made a motion for Eddie Clark. David, who did the motion? Michael Rudder made a motion to cease. And David James seconded that?
He seconded my nomination.
Second, too.
Or
No, we didn't need a
my
second.
motion.
You need a second on nomination.
Oh, okay, that's right.
All right, so Michael Rudder made a motion to cease. Who seconded that?
I heard somebody down there. I
We're
don't-
gonna have to play the tape recorder
Right.
because none of us know.
I think Greg did.
Great, okay.
Yeah, it was great, yeah.
All right, next.
What else?
Vice Secretary,
Yeah,
nominate David James.
okay. David James has been nominated for vice secretary. Any more nominations?
I move nomination cease and he be elected.
Second.
Motion been made, nomination cease and elect by acclamation. All in favor of this motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Good.
Good. Okay, do we have any proposed amendments?
We do.
Okay.
So this goes back to when we made the amendment for Cottage Court. I don't know if you remember me saying that we will need to make an amendment to the subdivision regulations. In the subdivision regulations, under Article 3, General Requirements and Minimum Standards of Design, I looked through that and saw that group housing development was in there with a definition of what that is, more or less. And I felt like Cottage Court should probably be put in there also with the definition. And to show that this subdivision will not require the minimum road standards, because this subdivision with the Cottage Court is allowing an easement to serve the parcels. I also felt like we need this certificate of private driveway notation for cottage courts, just like we have the certificate of private driveway for any other easement, so that they understand that this is an easement, this is not a county road, it will not be brought up to county road standards unless you petition to do so and you pay for.
This is pretty much just to get us in line with what we've done already.
Right, that's exactly right. We've already done all that, we've approved all this in our zoning
We
resolution.
just need these two little things here.
It's
It's really just a cleanup.
Right.
Wait a
Trying
minute,
to keep us out of trouble down the road,
Yeah.
really. That's it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Including both of them. in the same-
Yes, both
Okay.
amendments.
Article 3 and
Article
Article
3 and 4.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the added amendments. And all in favor, let it be known, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. I got one thing, I got kind of bum fuzzled here, but one night Eddie and myself was talking, and when you was chairman in my last year on the commission, Eddie said, now, I've always depended on you to keep me straight on Robert's Rules of Order. I said, well, how you know I wasn't telling you wrong? So you're not relying on the wrong person. And I never will forget that. Is that all we have?
I have no old business.
And adjourn.
Any?
I second.